Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Here we are in the Psychology of Eating podcast, and I am with Holly today. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I feel lucky myself. So let's just dive in, and I'm going to ask you one of my favorite questions to ask a client, which is if you could wave your magic wand and get whatever you wanted with food, body, and health, what would that look like for you?
It would look like being able to do stuff with my grandkids without having to slow down. And I've had some physical issues, knee surgery and things like that. And just be able to, get up off the floor, go running with them, go do the things that they want to do and be able to keep up with them without having to slow down.
Uh-huh. And does that mean you're looking to lose weight as well?
Yes.
And how much?
Probably about 80 pounds.
Got it. So if you lost 80 pounds, how much would that put you at?
About 200.
Put you at 200 pounds.
Yeah, I'm a big girl.
So when was the last time you were at 200?
Probably about 25 years ago.
Okay. Have you been dieting during that time at all?
Yeah, I've dropped down to like 220-ish, 220, 230. Mm-hmm. And I always gained it back because I know that I was, until I listened to you, I was on the diet roller coaster. So I would watch really closely what I eat and count my calories and all that stuff. And then I would go off of it and then I'd gain the weight back and then some. And I got pregnant a couple times in there. So my two daughters helped me, with the hormones and all that. They kind of helped me gain some. So, and I never really lost it since then.
So why do you think the weight stays on for you?
Well, I've had some problems in my marriage, and like for probably 20 to 25 years of my 33 year marriage. And I know I've been in a stress response, and from listening to, and learning the stuff through the Institute, I know a stress response is not good because you create extra cortisol and all that. So I know when my body does that, it's not good. And I also had some high stress jobs. I worked in a cardiac cath lab, and I also worked on an ambulance for quite a few years, and I still volunteer with my fire company. So lots of stressful situations, and sometimes they get the best of me, I guess.
So stressful situations getting the best of you means you go to food?
Not necessarily. Most of the time I don't eat. I just don't eat. And then I lose the weight and I start looking good. And then I start eating like I was. So it's a kind of a combination of eating, not eating, then not eating again, and then eating.
Got it. So then if you go through a stressful time and if you're not eating, when you go back to eating, do you feel like you're eating the right amount for you? Do you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm eating too much"?
Sometimes. Most of the time, lately, I've been more comfortable with what I'm eating because I'm eating healthier foods, and I feel like I can eat more and not be I'm not as full, just because it's healthier foods like the candy and stuff and I can tell when I eat the sugary foods, they just make me feel bad.
Mm-hmm. So when you're eating food, what does a typical breakfast look like for you? What might you eat for breakfast?
Usually yogurt, maybe with some fruit, depending on what I have on hand.
What time do you eat that?
Usually between 6 and 7.
And when's the next time you eat after you have that yogurt?
I'll usually have a snack around 10 or 11. I was a teacher for a lot of years too, so I ate on my break, which was usually around 10 or 11.
Mm.
And then I would have lunch like around 12-ish.
So that's how you're doing it these days still.
Yeah.
So what might you snack on in the 10 o'clock-ish range?
Nuts. I like to have nuts with a few chocolate chips and maybe some raisins or something like that.
And what's a typical lunch for you?
That depends. Like when I was working at the restaurant this summer, being around food a lot, it was difficult because the food there was not the healthiest. It was a lot of fried stuff. Not that I didn't eat a lot of the fried stuff, but I would take whatever I would have left over from dinner the night before, which could be chicken, fish, hamburger, sometimes salads.
Got it. And when's the next time you eat after lunch?
Usually around 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that.
Okay, so dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
And are you eating dinner by yourself? Are you eating with family?
It depends. My husband's a truck driver, so he's not always home. So sometimes I eat by myself. Sometimes I eat with him. And it also depends on the time of the year because he's a farmer also. So when he's farming, I've tried to get him to come in from the field, to eat dinner and then go back out. It depends on, what all he has to get done, whether we'll eat, at the regular time or if we eat at 8 or 9, because neither of us really like eating that late. So.
And a typical dinner for you might be?
Usually things like chicken, fish, some type of seafood, could be some type of meat like hamburger. I'm not a steak person, so that's not on my menu.
Do you eat anything after dinner? Snack, dessert before bed?
Sometimes like I'll do like hot tea, maybe. Sometimes I eat popcorn because I love fresh popcorn when it's still warm. I used to work in a theater, so that kind of got me into that. But usually not much more than that, no.
Do you tend to be a fast eater, moderate eater, slow eater?
Oh, I'm a fast eater. I've tried slowing down. I've listened to your stuff, and sometimes, especially when I'm working at the restaurant, we eat when we can. We don't have a set time. I'm more of a grazer there because if we have customers, we have to serve our customers. But if I'm home, I was a school teacher for many years, and we had 20 to 25 minutes to eat. And if we didn't eat, we didn't eat.
Sure.
So we had to shove our food down and get it, eat as quickly as we could to be able to get everything that we wanted to eat.
Mm-hmm. How old were you when you first thought to yourself, I want to lose weight?
Probably in my late 20s, early 30s.
Late 20s, early 30s. So how did that come about for you? Did you gain weight for a certain reason, do you think?
Well, I started gaining weight when I first got pregnant. I mean, I was really skinny in high school. Like I ate everything in sight. For lunch, I would eat 3 milks, 3 platters, 3 ice creams, and couldn't gain a pound. And I was tall and skinny. I'm like 6'2". So, and I weighed 153 all through high school. I couldn't gain any weight. And then when I graduated, I went to college and I played sports all through high school. I played sports in college also, but I only played 1 season. So I started gaining weight, which I was happy with because I thought I was too skinny. So once I got to about 200, I was good with that. And I was like, yeah, I'm starting to put some meat on my bones. I'm starting to not look like a beanpole because that's what I was always called. And then I got pregnant and the weight just came and it kept on coming. I mean, every time. Then I got pregnant for the second time and I gained more weight and I never lost it. And it just gradually just kept creeping on more and more all the time.
Got it. Okay. So you have 2 kids?
Mm-hmm.
And after each pregnancy, so just let me get this straight, you kind of kept some extra weight after each pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are Are your parents alive?
My mom is.
How old is she?
She just turned 83.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
How's her weight?
She's a little overweight, but not bad. I mean,
Mhm.
she's maybe 10, 15 pounds.
Uh-huh. Do you have any diabetes in your family?
I don't know. My husband has it on his side, but not on mine.
Have you ever been tested for diabetes or insulin resistance? Do you know?
I've been tested for diabetes, but I haven't been tested for insulin resistance.
Okay. And when you got tested for diabetes, what did they tell you?
It was fine.
Okay.
My A1C was okay.
Mhm. How do you do with your energy?
I take vitamins, so the vitamins help a lot. And when I don't take them, I can tell. Most of the time, I have pretty good energy. This past summer, when I had my knee surgery, my energy was really bad.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's gotten a lot better since the surgery happened. So,
How old are you, Holly?
52.
Okay. Think about that.
Yeah, I think about it.
So, have you had your thyroid tested?
Yeah, I have hypothyroidism.
And are you on a medication?
I'm on
What do you
100
take?
mics of levothyroxine. 100 mics of levothyroxine.
Got it. When did you start taking that?
Probably, I think it's been like 8, 10 years ago.
Well, what did you notice when you started taking it?
I had more energy because before I was diagnosed, I would come home and take a nap every day, which is really highly unusual for me because I usually don't nap during the day. And then when I started taking it, I felt better. But like some of the other symptoms that go along with hypothyroidism, like dry skin and being cold and my hair falling out, those are still hanging out. So I don't know I haven't quite figured out why that's not gotten better since I've been on the medicine.
Oh, so those symptoms are still there for you.
Some of them, yeah. I mean, I'm not as tired. That was the main symptom. I was tired all the time, but the other symptoms are kind of hanging around. Not as bad, but they're still there.
Okay. That's interesting to note. How's your sleep?
Sometimes I have trouble going to sleep.
And how about waking up?
Well, most of the time when I wake up, it's to go to the bathroom. So,
But I mean, in the morning, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning?
okay. I mean, I'm not like bursting with energy, but I feel okay.
And have you gone through menopause?
That's a good question because I had I had hysterectomy in 2000, so I don't really know.
Got it. Are you still having your period?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So when you've lost weight, you usually do it by not eating, as opposed to dieting. Now there's kind of a difference in there. So when you lose weight, do you do anything different with the food that you're eating, or you're just like, I'm just not going to eat?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, I was listening. I wanted to listen to your podcast on sugar addiction because I had for a long time I was addicted to sugar, and I also have excuse me. I also have Lyme disease. Oh. So one summer, and my daughter has Lyme disease. So as a joint thing, we went off all sugar, all flour, and all gluten.
How was that for you?
It was great, but I couldn't keep up with all the cooking that you had to do and all the preparation because at the time I was working 3 jobs. So as a teacher, I was off for the summer, and that's when we did it. And then when we started back to school, I just couldn't keep up with all the stuff. And I mean, I felt the greatest I felt in a long time. And I also lost a boatload of weight. And when I started eating sugar again, I could tell because I could feel the rush from the sugar.
Interesting. Okay. So, did you take any drugs for Lyme's disease?
I took some antibiotics for probably a year. And then the guy I was dealing with, he got put out of business because the mainstream people didn't like him giving medications and stuff. And then I found a naturopath close by, and I did some natural stuff, and that helped. Then he moved away. So, and I'm working with him again now, but I'm not, to be honest, I'm not sticking real close to what he wants me to do. And that's on me. It's not on him.
And what he wants you to do in terms of diet?
Yeah. He wants me to do no sugar, no flour, no gluten. And I find that really difficult with the kinds of foods that I'm around. And it's not, I don't keep that stuff in the house as much as I do like when I'm at work, because I don't, unless I take something with me, there's not much there that's gluten free.
Got it. Okay. How does your husband feel about your weight?
He doesn't say much. I mean, I don't think he's happy with it, but he doesn't really say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has no trouble with his weight. He can stop eat. He can adjust how much he eats, and he loses weight, which really just ticks me off. Mm-hmm. that he can lose it so easily.
And so let's say you lost the weight.
Mm-hmm.
How do you imagine life's going to be different? Other than, you get to play with the grandkids a little more vigorously, and you feel lighter in your body. What else?
I could probably find clothes that fit a little easier because I'm tall, and just finding tall sizes is hard. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm bigger in size, they're coming out with sizes that I actually used to fit in, mm-hmm. but not for my size now. So
how else would that be different for you?
I'd be able to do more active things that I like to do for longer periods of time. Like I like to go bike riding. I like to kayak. And I found like just getting out of the kayak is difficult. I have a sit on top one, and getting out is difficult sometimes. Just being able to move and that kind of thing.
So it sounds like you're the kind of person that naturally likes to be in your body. You naturally like to be active. Is that mm-hmm. true?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was active all through high school and college and everything. And I garden, and I'd like to be able to do things out in my garden without, aching after mm-hmm. I'm done.
And the aching is mostly where?
In my back. And that has a lot to do with when I was working EMS and picking up people that were too heavy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just taking some notes for myself to remember a few things here.
Okay.
Brothers and sisters?
One older brother.
How's his weight?
He's fine. I mean, he has a little bit of a belly, but not much. He's a runner. He and his wife go running all the time.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think in your mind when you think to yourself, I know I can lose weight sustainably, like in a good way, where I'm not going to gain it back if I could just do these things or this thing?
Well, if I would be active on a regular basis, that would be a big thing. Mm-hmm. And if I had somebody that would help motivate me, that would probably help. Help just to like do stuff with, rather than doing it by myself all the time.
In terms of being physically active.
Mm-hmm. Like going for a walk or bike ride or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So some companionship around movement. What else? Somebody to motivate you.
I don't know right offhand.
Mm-hmm. What gives you the most fun these days? Most pleasure, most fun.
Going bike riding, kayaking, being out in my garden,
Mm-hmm.
spending time with my pets,
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff with my grandkids, especially because they're here right now. They live in North Carolina, so we don't get to see them very often.
Oh, good for you. What's most challenging for you these days?
Being consistent with anything, just across the board.
Mm-hmm. Is this recent, or has this been a feature of you for a while?
It's been a feature for probably about 5 years. Just because I was working full time, and it's like when I work full time, I'm much more, I guess, regimented, or I have stuff scheduled more and I can stick to it better. But my husband also started driving a truck about 5 years ago, and his schedule fluctuates. Like today, he doesn't know what he's doing. He still doesn't know today where he's going tonight,
Mm-hmm.
or when he's going to be back home, or any of that kind of stuff. So in order to spend time with him, I kind of schedule my life around him, which is not exactly good for me as far as, being able to keep up with what I need to do.
Mm-hmm. So the challenge of sticking to things, anything that works for you, that's supportive of you,
Mm-hmm.
and being consistent, that's a challenge for you, is what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
No. What do you think's in the way for you of saying, okay, something, I got to do these things for me?
Me. That's the big thing. I don't know.
So how's your relationship with your two kids?
My one daughter is really good. The other daughter is getting better.
Mm-hmm. What's the main challenge with your other daughter?
She likes to use our grandkids as a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 4 grandkids that are hers, and one who is her husband's son. And she uses the ones that are hers as, well, if you do this, they'll be able to go, or that kind of stuff. So she's been one of the stressors also, because she's now, she'll be 30 this year, and she moved out when she was 18, and it's been a roller coaster for all those years. So
mm-hmm. Do you ever think about how long you want to live?
Mm-hmm.
Like to what age?
Occasionally.
If you could just wave your magic wand and have it your way, how long would you live?
Till 95, 100.
Okay, so that's a good another 48 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would you do with those 48 years?
Travel. That's the main thing I like to do. I love to travel and just go see different places. Spend time with my grandkids, take them with me.
Mm-hmm. Are you on any other kind of medications other than the thyroid medication we talked about?
Prescribed? No. I mean, I take like vitamins and supplements and that kind of thing. But
Sure. Okay. Let me share some thoughts with you, and we'll see what might be helpful or useful. So there's 2 places that I would love to see you explore when it comes to you shape shifting your body. You wish to lose weight, you wish to lose 80 pounds. It hasn't been easy for you to do that, otherwise you would have done it. And when you have lost weight, and it's in this last chunk of years, it's either been because you were on a very specialized diet, no gluten, no sugar, etc., which you felt good and you lost some weight, but hard to stay with that diet. I totally understand. Or you can sometimes lose weight when you're just, lots going on. Maybe you're stressed out and you just stop eating, or you don't eat as much, and weight might come off that way. So, of course, anytime I think of sustainable weight loss, it's really about what changes does a human being have to make such that your life is different, so that the ways you take care of yourself and your habits can be different at the same time. The other piece, so let's look at the metabolism part for you first. I'm interested. I'm thinking that there's probably a little bit of metabolic or medical sleuthing that you can continue to do. So in a perfect world, if you had unlimited money to spend on yourself, and I'm not saying that you do, but in a perfect world, I would want you to work with either a naturopath or a doctor that practices functional medicine or natural medicine. And I would want them, and especially somebody who works with the strategy of bioidentical hormones. Because given your past history, given your current history, so you mentioned hysterectomy, yes? Mm-hmm. You've mentioned hypothyroid. I don't know that you're on the right medication for you. So that's something you have to take up with a doctor. But oftentimes, so you took this thyroid medication, some of your symptoms went away, some didn't. And so you're still hanging on to certain symptoms of low thyroid. Oftentimes, I'm just going to tell you, that's an indication. There's different thyroid medications that a human can take. Mm-hmm. You're taking one of them. There's others. You'd want to go to a doctor who practices natural medicine or functional medicine to get the right kind of thyroid tests, and somebody who works with some of the more natural thyroid medications, which oftentimes can do the trick. So that has my attention. So if you were my long-term client and I was going to make $10 million if you lost all the weight that you want to lose sustainably, that's probably number one thing I would do with you first. I would want to truly understand your hormonal picture from a better place, which means getting second and third opinions, which for me means going to the kind of practitioner, the kind of medical doctor who understands more the cutting edge of hormone therapy, which is generally bioidentical hormones and or functional medicine, which can work with the thyroid from a more natural place. So it just might very well be that you can benefit from that just by having the right medications and just by having the right substances, which might be medications, might not be, might be supplements, but that help you balance out your hormones in the right way. So I would really be interested in that for you. Given the ride that you've been on, given that you can't even say for sure if I've gone through menopause, working with hormones, you got to have somebody who's been doing it for a while, quite honestly. Don't go see a 30-year-old practitioner, see somebody who's in their, late 40s, 50s, 60s, then they've been doing this for a long time.
Okay.
So I highly recommend you kind of poking around, getting online, see who's in your area. Just Google bioidentical hormone replacement therapy in the town that you live in. See what comes up. See if you can
Okay.
get a functional medicine doctor, natural medicine doctor. And that can make a huge difference for you.
Okay.
A lot of times it'll literally make a difference for you in your motivation.
Interesting.
Yes, in your motivation. Because a lot of times, there are certain women, oddly enough, believe it or not, they're low in testosterone. We don't often think of testosterone for a woman.
Right.
But I'm just interested what an expert would have to say doing the right hormone panels for you. So that's the first place I would start if this was reality television and I get to win $10 million to help you get your ultimate goal. So that's the first place I would start. Next place I would go to alongside all that is looking at you kind of reinventing your relationship with food. Reinventing your relationship with food, reinventing your relationship with your body, meaning let's do things differently. Why? Because the way you've been doing them hasn't worked in terms of weight loss. So I think let's do things differently. Plain and simple. Mm-hmm. One of the things I want you to do different, and I know you tried this, you know what I'm going to say? I really want you to train yourself to become a slow eater. And by slow eater, I mean relaxed, I mean present, because there's a part of you that has to make peace with the eating experience. I don't think you're there yet. Mm-mm. You haven't made peace with the eating experience. One of the ways we make peace with the eating experience, if you want to make peace with anybody, any human being, you can't be running around them in circles. You can't be running away from them, and you can't be with them and not pay attention to them. Because otherwise the conversation doesn't work. If I'm standing next to my partner and we have an argument and I ain't listening and I'm not paying attention and I'm not present, nothing's going to happen. If I'm encountering food, if I'm eating a meal and I'm not present, I'm not in my most evolved, conscious, aware relationship with food. So what's going to happen is, eating slow is hard for you. And the reason it's hard is because it's an old habit. A lot of us just most people learn how to eat fast just by being a human and being alive and being on planet Earth, because most other people are eating fast. Mm-hmm. That's why they call it fast food. Not like they make the food fast, but you eat it fast too.
Yeah. My dad was a fast eater.
Yeah. So you picked it up from your environment.
Yeah.
And there's always a part of us that's going to be seeing food as the enemy. Mm-hmm. Because food makes us fat. So we think. And to me, you're still in a relationship with food that you were probably in at a younger age. I didn't want to spend a lot of time trying to identify when. But here's the thing. From what little I know about you, you started out with beanpole metabolism. Mm-hmm. You started out, it's like, okay, this thing doesn't gain weight. I could eat and eat and eat. And so you could just eat. And especially being a teenager, not only were you able to eat as a female and not gain weight, my guess is you were able to eat anything and still have energy. Mm-hmm. And you could eat anything and still run around and do sports and just be you. And then all of a sudden, here's a couple of pregnancies and here's some weight gain. And I don't think that your relationship with food has kind of grown as you've grown. My guess is you've grown as a parent, you've grown as a grandparent, you've grown as a woman, you've grown as a partner, challenges with all that stuff. You've grown as a human being. And there's probably lots of other places you've grown that I don't know about. And there's certain places that we don't grow because we're busy growing in other places and we only got so much energy. And relationship with food, I think, is one such place for you. And it's literally saying, okay, here's me. I'm 52 years old. I got to take care of myself with food. Not, I've got to lose weight. Take losing weight off the table for a moment. Even if you didn't want to lose weight, even if you were at the perfect weight, and you came to me and you said, hey, Mark, what do you think about living to be 100 and being healthy and not only living to be 100, but living as healthy as I can to be 100. I'd say, wow, okay, so for a human to be healthy up to 100, we must take care of our body. And we must get better and better at it, more nuanced at it. So right now, you're very much a creature of your environment. Mm-hmm. And there's no blame for that. We all are. I'm a creature of my environment. If you walk into a room of sleeping people, you're going to be tired. You will walk into a room of partying people, you're going to have some energy. So you really respond to your environment. And if your environment isn't supporting you, then you tend to not support you, is what it sounds like to me. Mm-hmm. So I want the adult in you to start mapping this out and saying, okay, I now have to, for the next 50 years, start creating the conditions so I can better thrive. Think of it in terms of your health and well-being rather than weight. What's going to happen is you're thinking of losing weight, and it's sort of messing with your head. Mm-hmm. It really messes with your head, and you don't get successful at it. So I wish for you to lose weight. I wish for you to be at the weight that you want to be at. I think in order to get there, you have to recontext you and your body. You have to make up a new story. So this is not about Holly losing weight. This is about Holly fully stepping into a new relationship that you're building with yourself. Like any new relationship, you're building a new relationship with yourself where you're better taking care of yourself. Weight loss will be a function of that. So you say to me, yeah, when I have somebody that I can go out and do stuff with, then I'm much more apt to go out and do it. Mm-hmm. Great. Then I need you to figure out, how do you create that? You need to rope your best friends in. You need to, you figure that out. You're the adult, you know your world. How do you start creating that kind of support? Who are your friends that will support you in that way? I would love for you to identify someone in your life who can sort of be your kind of buddy as you're changing your relationship with food and body. Find someone online. Do it for free. Pay a coach if you could afford it. But put energy into you feeling supported from your environment. Like, what are the ways you can start to do that this week or next week? To start to create support. It doesn't have to be all-encompassing. It's about you taking baby steps. Because there's a part of you, correct me if I'm wrong, you're still learning how to be in your body. You're a physically active person naturally. Mm-hmm. And you're catching up right now to, how do I be in my body at age 52? carrying a bunch of weight right now. It's not the weight I want to have. Instead of thinking my body's going to be better off when I lose weight, I asked you, like, how's it going to feel once you lose weight? And you have answers for that. Yeah, I'm going to feel lighter. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to fit into clothes, all that sort of thing. I'm not going to have as much pain, which I agree, you probably won't.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not about how good it's going to be when. It's how do I start being my own health advocate now? Baby steps. How's that landing for you when I talk about that? How does that resonate for you? Does that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds true. Yeah.
Say more.
I need to be my own advocate. I need to start doing what's good for me, not what's good for everybody else. That's what all my life I've taken care of other people and not myself.
Mm. And I bet you've been a wonderful taker-carer of other people.
Mm-hmm.
I got no doubt about that. And now's your time.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandma, you're 52. Yeah, you're still taking care of some people. But let's be born again now and start taking care of you and really valuing you. Because that's kind of what it is. It's that place inside you, Holly, where you know that you're your own advocate and you know that you're standing by yourself. And even though that's been your whole life where you've been taking care of other people,
Mm-hmm.
just bless that. Like, yeah, like you're a good human. I'm sure you've been an angel for people.
Mm-hmm.
And now we got to be an angel for you.
Yep.
And it sort of means you're worth it.
Yeah.
It means letting yourself know that you're worth it, that you matter, you count, you're important.
It does.
Yeah. When you affirm to yourself that you're important, first inside yourself, just reminding yourself that, like, I'm important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start taking little baby steps that demonstrate that. Some of what I've been saying or suggesting. Start practicing slower eating. It's going to take you a while, but you got 50 years because you're going to live to be 100 anyway. But the way you're going to live to be 100 is if you matter.
Mm-hmm.
To you. What you thinking right now?
I think you're right.
Who would be a good support person for you in this new part of your journey?
Probably my best friend, Cheryl.
Mm.
I mean, she lives in Missouri, but we can talk on the phone.
I would love for you to have a conversation with her, talk about what we talked about.
Okay.
Let her know that you really want to start a new relationship with your body and your life where you matter. And we're doing things for you. You're doing things for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're even putting yourself first.
Yeah.
I have a feeling the people that love you will still love you.
Yeah, they will.
It's not like everybody's going to run away.
Right.
Grandkids will still love you. The kids will still love you.
Mm-hmm.
My sense is your husband, he ain't going anywhere.
No.
So what would it be like to talk to him about this conversation and this new road for yourself? How do you think that would go? Just like sharing with him that
No.
this is something for you that's important.
Well, most of the time when we talk about food, he just kind of blows it off. Because we had an argument, or not an argument, a disagreement, I guess you could say. Like he only wants to eat twice a day. He doesn't understand why somebody needs to eat 3 times a day. And he would tell me, I don't see how you can eat so much food. And it's like, I'm not eating that much. I'm just eating at different times.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how he would respond.
Yeah. So what's important for me, if you do have a conversation with him, is that it's less about food and it's more about you want to live a long life, you want to travel, you want to see your grandkids grow up. You could have great grandkids if you play this right.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. So if you're going to be able to play with your great grandkids, you have to matter.
Mm-hmm.
And you mattering means you're important. You're important means that you can make decisions that are all about you and all about your care and your health, and that we prioritize you. And anyone like your best friend who can be a support system for that, the moment you feel yourself getting weak and you're not taking care of yourself, call your friend. Just talk it out. The moment you have a nice success and you took care of yourself, call your best friend. Celebrate it. I think you get where I'm going here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And in a way, I'm appealing to the part of you that I'm asking you to look at the remainder of your life, because a lot of times we can just be living our life day to day, and we're not looking at the big picture because we just have a day-to-day life, and there's difficult times in the world right now. And there's a lot of people who are stressed and scrambling around, and there's a lot of challenge. And this is a good time for you to look at the big picture and say, okay, where am I going? How long do I want to be here? And what's going to make life worth living for me? Because if life is really worth living for you, then it's easier to take care of ourselves.
Never thought about it that way.
Say again?
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. If I'm not liking my life, if I don't have a purpose, if I don't have a vision for where I'm going, and I'm kind of, bored with this and tired of that and doing the same thing with my body and my health and my weight, and I'm not getting anywhere, why should I really want to take care of myself? It's too much work. And what am I getting out of it? What's the point? So it's really for you, it's not about losing weight, it's about you mattering and taking care of yourself. You claiming, I'm important, I'm here, I'm Holly, and I'm going to start to create more of a support system for myself. Just for me. What do you think? You think that's doable for you?
Yeah. It'll take some work, but yeah.
It takes work for sure. It takes a little bit of surrender and a little bit of letting go of just sort of noticing who the old you is now. The old you put other people first. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to put people first when that needs to happen. Of course, your grandkids are here, you're going to put them first. And when they go back to North Carolina, okay, different.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're first. And sometimes it might not be that your husband's first. It might not be that his schedule's first. He'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. You'll both figure it out. What else do you feel would help you in this new way of being? Support from a best friend. What else?
Probably support from my family, like from my mom in particular. Because she's one of the ones that keeps telling me how I need to lose weight and mainly lose weight and eat healthy and all that, which I do eat pretty healthy. It's just when I do eat.
Yeah. You know, you might ask her to let go of the language about losing weight. Of course you want to do that. But again, I want to say, as strange as it may sound, losing weight is not your goal. It's not the goal you're shooting for. The goal you're shooting for is taking care of yourself. The goal you're shooting for is standing by yourself, is you being important and you making your life matter to you. As you do that more and more, you will do the things that are good for you. It'll be easier to do those things. It'll be easier to practice slow eating. It'll be easier. You don't have to go gluten-free. You could eat less gluten. In a way that works for you. You don't have to just get rid of all gluten. You don't have to get rid of all sugar. Might even just eat less. Can I eat 20% less, 50% less? So there's no all or nothing here. It's you starting to find a new way for yourself, but it's all about I'm important and I'm taking care of me. Not, I got to lose weight.
Right.
Because you've been saying I got to lose weight for a long time, and everybody else has been telling you that.
Yeah.
What does that do? Well, you're like, really, what does it do? Okay.
Drive me crazy.
Right. You don't need to hear that again. You don't need to hear it from anybody, nor do you need to hear it from you. Most important, not from you. You know it. You've said it. We've heard it. Done. Put it to the side. And now you live your life by you becoming a better and better person to yourself, for yourself. I think we got to a good place, Holly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the good grace and all the good fortune. And I hope everything that can support you in you really standing for yourself in this way and just finding a new relationship with you. I really hope that comes into your life, that you feel supported and you just open up to that. Because sometimes you just open up to it a little bit and all of a sudden there's more help around you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You feel like this is a good place for us to feel complete?
Yep, I think so.
thanks for going on this little hour-long journey with me.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you opening up and answering all my questions and just being open to this kind of feedback. And like I said, Holly, I'm wishing you all the good graces and all the good fortune. And
Thank
it's
you.
really good to connect with you.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you in person.
Same here. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Lots more to come, my friends. Take care.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care. And remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.